Hey everybody, welcome back to Stretchies and Stuff. My name is Jane and today I have got a really chill 30-minute class for you guys. So this is a great class for people when they have their periods and they're feeling sluggish and having cramps and not really wanting to do yoga. It's also great for people who don't have their period or even get periods. It's a really nice class for days when you're just feeling sluggish and you just want to stretch it out. Maybe you're exhausted from work, maybe you had a big night out last night. This is great for you. There's a lot of lower back stretching in this class, lots of hip opening, and lots of child's pose.
Yes!
We do spend a fair bit of time on our knees in this, so if being on your knees is not the place for you, this might not be the best class for you to do. But if it's something that you slightly kind of struggle with, just make sure you have lots of padding and that you take all of the different options that I offer. If you do have knee problems, I have a handful of nice seated classes and classes that don't involve getting down on your knees. Let's get started. Make sure you have, I've got a bit of a list for you. A blanket or a towel also works, just something folded up on your mat. As many bed pillows as you can find in your house, or a yoga bolster if you have one. If you have 2 blocks, that's great. If you don't have 2 blocks, you can just use some big books and a house coat tie or a yoga strap. Something that we can use if you have a hard time reaching back to grab your foot in a quad stretch. So that's about it. Really long intro. Let's do this class.
All right, so get started with your 2 pillows in line with your mat. And option to have another 2 small pillows for extra height, and you can put one up where your head will be and then one kind of in towards your pelvis if that extra compression feels good. If you're having cramps or if you just feel more supported like this. And then walk yourself forward and come into this nice child's pose here on the pillows. And yes, put up your hood if you're wearing a nice cozy hoodie. Get really comfy here and just settle into the breath. Notice how you can start to let go of thoughts about what you did before the class or what you have to do after. Just be present here with the breath, with the body, gently opening up the lower back, the ribs, and send those expansive inhales into the back rib cage. Imagine creating more space, softening the muscles around the ribs. Relax the neck, relax the whole spine. Make sure the face is nice and soft. And just start to arrive here. If the thoughts start to wander, just come back to the breath. If you're looking in one direction, you can come up and switch directions. So bring your other ear onto the pillow. Just to even out the stretching in the neck. Nice gentle twist in the upper spine. If you are using this class to help with cramps, this is a great way to send some love and some breath into that area of the body, softening the back and sending breath into the pelvic area. Little compression there too. And slowly prepare yourself to walk yourself back up to that kneeling position. And mindfully just move your pillows off to the side. That's mindful movement right there. So now just keep yourself kneeling up on your blanket if that's comfortable. We're going to bring the legs a little closer together and make our way into a child's pose without the support. So we've gently opened up the back, and now we're going to get a little bit deeper, a little bit of activation in the hands, so gently pushing the mat away. And the elbows are off the ground, and peel yourself up into your hands and knees to come into an arched spine. And exhale, curl the spine, look towards the navel, really massage the back as you do this, and lower back into child's pose. Moving like that. Inhale, bring yourself up and arch the spine, look up towards the sky. Inhale. Exhale, curl the spine, look in towards the navel, really stretch out the back, stretch out the shoulders, and lower the hips back to the heels. And one more time like that, press into the hands, bring yourself forward, arch the spine, look up towards the ceiling. And exhale, curl the spine, look in towards the navel, give that back a nice massage, and bring the hips back to the heels, child's pose. And now coming into some side bends in child's pose. So make sure your fingers are nice and stretched out wide away from the body, and then walk both hands over to the right side, coming into some lateral flexion in the spine. Really reach that left hand farther away from the body. Breathe into the left side body. And imagine bringing that left hip closer to the heel, and then bring yourself onto the other side. So reach the right arm farther away from the body and try to bring the right hip closer to the right heel. And come back to center, child's pose. It's going to be a child's posy kind of class. So enjoy this nice therapeutic pose. Let's come back onto hands and knees. Come through a few of those nice cat-cows. Inhale to arch the spine. Exhale to curl. Inhale, arch the spine. And then tuck your toes under and come back to sit on your heels with your toes tucked under. So nice toe and foot stretch. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead, stretch up towards the sky, and exhale, bring the arms back down. Inhale, circle the arms up overhead. And exhale, bring the right hand down and reach the left fingers over towards the right side. Nice side body stretch here from kneeling. Exhale, left hand comes down, and inhale, reach both arms up. Exhale, drop the left hand and reach the right arm away from the body over to the left side, and come back to center. Walk the hands forward, come into your hands and knees now, untuck the toes. And let's make some circles with the hips here. So imagine there's a paintbrush on the tip of your tailbone and you're drawing big circles on the wall behind you in one direction. So releasing out through the lower back, and now switch directions. Getting some articulation here in the pelvis. Arch the spine, look up. And exhale, curl the spine, really stretch the back body out. Come back, child's pose. Reach the arms forward. Feel yourself starting to soften, getting into the body. Now walk your hands back. Come up to kneeling, maybe shed a layer as we get moving. And take a couple of breaths here, just sitting on your heels. We'll come back to this pose later. But for now, come up onto your knees, zip up through the core as you raise your arms up overhead. Try to keep the ribs in, and then just step your right foot forward, coming into a low lunge. You might want to wiggle your left knee back a little bit farther and get deeper into that right front knee. And now twist and reach the right arm back to grab the back of the left leg and reach the left arm up towards the sky. You can look down if that feels good on the neck. And inhale, reach both arms up. And zip up through the core. Use your strength to bring that right knee back and come back down into your kneeling position. Moving again, inhale, reach the arms up as you come up onto your knees. Try to tuck the ribs in, keep the tailbone pointing towards the ground, and step that left foot forward, coming into a low lunge on the other side. Get nice and deep into that back hip. See if you can sink a little lower into that front knee. And then twist. Bring the left hand down and reach for the back of the right thigh as you swing your right arm up overhead. Gaze to the back of the room or down, and inhale, left arm up. Exhale, plant your hands, and this time we're going to step the right foot all the way forward and come into a nice forward fold. So in your first forward fold, feel free to bend the knees a lot and let the torso hang on the bent knees if your hamstrings are feeling a little bit tight, but just do what feels best in your body. You can sway from side to side, bending opposite knees. And bend the knees a lot as you roll yourself all the way up to standing. The head comes up last. And circle the shoulders onto the back. Find Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale, circle the arms up overhead. And exhale, nice bend in the knees as you fold forward the first time in our sun salutation. Inhale, plant the hands on the shins, look forward, halfway lift. And exhale, plant the hands. Mindfully step both feet back into a plank position. Inhale in plank, and exhale to lower the knees, chest and chin all the way down to the ground. And inhale, little cobra. Exhale, come all the way back down, moving like that 2 more times. Inhale, circle the shoulders back, look forward, cobra pose. And exhale to come down. Really push into the tops of your feet here as you lift the shoulders up, look forward. And exhale, this time coming through hands and knees right away. Lift the hips, downward facing dog. First downward dog, so pedal out the feet. Go from one side to the other. Really make sure that the neck is soft. And then walk your feet in a little bit closer to come into a shorter downward dog. Bring the weight into the right hand and reach the left hand through to grab the right calf. And find this nice balancing, revolved downward facing dog, really stretching out through the shoulders, twisting the spine, a little bit of balance. And then bring that left hand slowly back into downward facing dog. Stretch out in between sides, and then bring your weight into the left hand and reach the right arm through to grab the left calf or ankle. And take a few nice breaths here, really stretching into the shoulder blades. Try to keep the neck nice and soft. And then bring the right hand back. Find your downward facing dog, so walk your feet back a little. And then roll yourself forward into a plank. And then flowing through, so you choose chaturanga or down all the way. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. In your down dog, inhale, reach the right leg up towards the sky, and exhale, bring the right knee to the chest, out and around. So making circles with the right knee, bringing it all the way into the chest, around and up. Last time, nice circle here, knee to chest, around, up. And then straighten your right leg, inhale, and exhale, step the right leg forward and to the outer edge of your hands. So both hands are inside the right leg. Finding a lizard pose here. So take your time to get comfortable in this pose. You might want to put 2 blocks under your hands if the ground feels really far away. And if you feel like you've got some extra space here, you can come down onto your forearms, but you choose. Feel free to move the hips around, up and down. See what feels good. You can lift that left knee off the ground by tucking the left toes if you want to get a little bit deeper. And just breathe into the hips here. Try to soften everything that you're not using. And lower that left knee back down onto the ground if you had it up. And then we're going to come into a quad stretch here. So I'll show you some props that you can use. We're going to put our left hand on a block or a book if you have one. And you can always use the strap in your right hand to lasso your back foot as you bring that left foot in towards the body, pulling with the right hand. Try to keep the chest nice and open. And this is what it looks like without the strap. So you can experiment with bringing your hips a little bit closer to your heels. And just really enjoy this nice deep stretch in the back hip. If you do want to get a little bit deeper into this, you can always move the block or come down onto that left forearm. You choose. And now release the leg, bring the hand forward, tuck the back toes, and we're going to pivot our feet to face the left and walk the hands all the way to the back side of the mat, coming into Skandasana. So we're bent into our left knee, the right leg is straight, toes pointing up towards the sky. Try to keep the chest lifted. And you can always be on that left toes without the heel flat. And then walk your hands forward, lower the left knee, come into a nice low lunge here in between sides. Exhale, come back into a hamstring stretch. So point the right toes up towards the sky. Walk the hands forward or under blocks. Inhale, bend into that right knee, look up, stretch through the left hip. Couple more times like this. So exhale, come onto that right heel, point the right toes up towards the sky, bow yourself forward, stretching out through the back body. And inhale, look forward, stretch out through the back hip. Exhale, point the toes up towards the sky. Try to keep your hips nice and level here, so try to suck that right hip back, left hip forward, and then lift the back knee and step the right foot back to meet the left. Find downward facing dog. Inhale now. Reach that left leg up towards the sky and come into those circles. So bend the left knee in towards the chest. Make huge circles with your knee, coming all the way out to the side, up and around. And then reach the left leg up to the sky. And exhale. Bring the knee in towards the chest, step the left foot forward, coming into lizard pose on the other side. So both hands are on the inner edge of that left foot. And just get yourself comfortable here. Choose your variation. Maybe you want to take one book or one block and put both elbows onto it if you're somewhere in between being on your hands and being on your forearms. Just see what works best for your body here and find a nice comfortable position to stay in for a few breaths. There's always the option of bringing that left or that right knee off of the ground to get a little bit deeper into the right hip. And as you do that, just experiment with the positioning of your hips again, so you can raise them up a little. Just move them from side to side. You might find some interesting areas that need more stretching. And now lower that back knee down. And option again on this side, the block and the strap, or just walk that right hand off to the side. Reach back with the left hand to grab the right foot. Stretch through the hip and the quad, and you can be on the outer edge of your front foot. So let that front knee fall off to the side and really twist. Try to keep your heart nice and open as you look up towards the sky here. This twist, quad stretch, heart opener. Lots of good things here. Without slingshotting, release that back hand and then Spider-Man, walk your hands all the way over to the right side. Come into your Skandasana. So hands at heart center. That right heel can be off the ground, no problem. Just keep those left toes pointing up towards the sky. Keep your chest nice and proud. And enjoy this stretch. Now walk your hands slowly forward. Plant both hands on either side of the front knee now and come into your low lunge. Look forward, stretching into that back hip. And then exhale to lift the back hip up and straighten the front leg, coming into that hamstring stretch, half splits. Ardha Hanumanasana. Inhale to peel yourself forward back into that low lunge. Look up. Look forward. And exhale, stretching out through the back of that front leg. Make it feel really good. So use your props, use your blocks under your hands. Inhale, come forward. And exhale, stretching out. This will be really good for any lower back pain. And now bring yourself back forward into that low lunge. Lift the back knee, tuck the back toes, and step your left foot back into plank. Lower the knees, and here we go. Child's pose again. Bring the hips back towards the heels and relax the upper body down into the earth. I like to imagine just letting any stress here with the forehead on the ground, just pouring out of the forehead and into the ground. As you soften down into your child's pose. And stay in your child's pose for a few breaths, but when we get up from the child's pose, we're going to find our pillows once again and set them up pretty much like they were at the beginning of the class. But just prepare yourself for that and slowly bring yourself out of your child's pose and make your way into a kneeling position with your bum up against your pillows. Take your time to get here. So you can place a block underneath your bum here in this pose if it's hard for you to get your hips down towards the ground. And if you're still kind of organizing your props, no worries, take your time. Once we get into this kneeling pose, Virasana, we're going to stay here for several breaths. So just take your time getting all set up for this. So if this isn't feeling great on the knees, again, feel free to add extra padding in between the calves or the heels and the hips, extra pillows, whatever you need to be able to stay here for some time. This pose is really great for when you have your period or if you have any digestive issues, as it inhibits some blood flow into your legs and your lower extremities. and encourages a little bit of extra blood flow into the pelvic area, the digestive area, sending more healing into those places. So this is a great pose to come back to anytime if you're looking to improve your energy or help deal with some cramps, or if you're super full and having a hard time digesting. It's great for the legs as well, as when we come out of this pose, a whole bunch of fresh blood will flow down into the legs and the feet. And we're slowly going to bring ourselves back into Supta Virasana next. So that's reclined hero pose. So we're going to start by bringing the hands just behind the body and tuck the tailbone under, and see what happens as you walk your hands back, and maybe coming just down onto your forearms and your elbows first, or leaning your whole upper back onto the pillows and just bringing your palms or your hands onto the ground, or you can hold onto your calves or your feet. Choose whichever arm variation you like. My camera went blurry, but that shouldn't matter as you're just resting here in this pose. Take some time to get comfortable here, so add more props if you need to. And just really send lots of nice breath into the chest, into the belly. We'll stay here for a few more cycles of breath. See what you can let go of in the hips, in the quads, in the belly, in the chest. Slowly start to come out by bringing your forearms back down onto the ground, pressing your hands and your upper body off of the pillow, and bring yourself back up into that Virasana pose. And the knees might splay out a little bit in this pose, and that's okay, but eventually we're going for thigh bones parallel to each other. Bring yourself off of your props and just bring your blocks so that they're both underneath your pillows. So we're going to have the pillows in the same way, but you can have the block that's farthest away from you on the second height and the one that's closest to you on the lowest height. If you don't have blocks, it is not the end of the world. Just use a couple of pillows and you're still going to get great effects. And now I've taken my strap and just looped it around my knees and tying it into a nice knot. So it's coming in a loop around the outer sides of both of my legs, and then scooch your feet back in towards your lap and come into a nice butterfly pose bound with the strap. I'm using my bathrobe tie as a strap, and you can use that or anything. This is just going to help support the legs as we come back down onto the pillows, with the knees splaying out to the sides, finding butterfly pose here in a supported back bend. So you want to make sure that the pillows are coming to the very end of the lower back. And the chest is nice and soft, and I've interlaced my hands over my lower belly here, just to breathe some softening and healing into the pelvic area. Just imagine healing energy coming in through the hands into this area as you soften here in this restorative pose. And either stay here for as long as you want, or if you have to move on, we're going to start thinking about bringing the hands to the outer legs and closing the knees back together like a book. Great story. Remove the strap and then mindfully bring yourself off of your pillows and over to the side and come into an easy seated position. Just take a few moments here with the hands on the knees. Notice if you're feeling any better than you felt at the beginning of the class, and just take a moment here to bring the hands to heart center or the forehead. Bow, giving gratitude for yourself for joining this practice and taking some time on a sluggish day to do something that feels really good for you. Thank you so much for practicing with me, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.